이르샤이마세!
We are
Cafe Toll!
I'm Peachie.
I'm Strawberry.
I'm Six.
I'm Cyrus.
And welcome to Cafe Chats, where we hang out and chat about various topics that are on our minds for the day. Today we'll be chatting about hot topics that we've been seeing in the art community and giving our opinions and our perspectives on them because things are getting pretty crazy.
Before we get into that, though, we should probably explain what we will be drawing in the meantime. While we talk, as we do in most Cafe Chats videos, we will be doing a bit of an art challenge. We are going to be spinning the wheel.
Yeah!
A very famous celebrity on our channel, and picking a color palette, and we're all going to make a drawing based on that color palette.
I love the wheel.
Yes.
Praise
Yeah.
the wheel.
The wheel knows all, decides all.
But yeah, while we use our new palette, we're going to talk about all these hot topics that have been gracing probably mostly our Twitter timelines, because that's where all the drama is.
God, yeah. The amount of times lately I've been scrolling Twitter and I have to put my phone down across the room because I just don't want to look at it anymore. So, my friends, what art Twitter thing would we like to complain about first?
No, it's not complaining, we are having a nice discussion.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Just sharing our opinions.
Alright guys, let's acknowledge the elephant in the room. Is Pinkie Pie black or not?
Jumping right into it, aren't you?
The correct answer is yes.
The correct answer is in fact yes.
I feel like it's just been a universally accepted thing for so long that whenever I see an interpretation of her that isn't black, I'm like, whoa, something's wrong.
Something's wrong.
Why did they take her melanin away?
Right. Because I saw a tweet where someone was talking about it and people, like, they were being, like, respectful. They were like, respectfully, I don't see it, but, like, you know, I really like the concept. And I was like, but how do you not even see it? Like, how do we not even consider it?
Yeah,
She got black girl hair, that's a black girl.
Yeah.
exactly.
Honestly, I think this is a great segue into a wider conversation of a topic that I feel like kind of encompasses this recent pony humanization drama, which is like how people view non-human characters as humans and how there are stereotypes put with those non-human characters even though they're not human, and
Yeah.
how much those stereotypes persist through so much art that it almost becomes kind of like not good.
Yeah. And just like these biases that people are just like not even aware that they are putting into their art, if that makes sense. Let's think critically for a second about why you drew that character that way.
Yeah, because like I have always felt kind of icky, to be honest, about the like, this character dresses dark so they're gonna have dark skin, and this character dresses light so they're gonna have light skin.
Yeah.
And I'm like, guys, we can switch it up. You know that, right? You guys know that we can switch it up. I think one of the biggest examples, and honestly I was kind of like a semi-victim during this time, was when Security Breach came out and people were making humanized versions of Roxanne and Chica. And there was this thing that there was like this whole thing about how like people were taking the colors of the characters and turning them black and white and then matching the tone of the grayscale color to like what their actual human skin color would be.
I forgot about that.
And I was like, guys, for the love of God, this doesn't make any sense. Chica is paper white. That is not even a human skin color. And someone tried to like tell me on a TikTok comment, they were like, no, but they're doing like that method where you turn it grayscale. And I'm like, grayscale of white is white. And that's not a color that no one is paper sheet white. We have lost the plot. What do you mean?
And it's like, I know what you're trying to do. I know that you're trying as hard as you possibly can to avoid controversy by like picking the wrong color, but I still don't think that this is the way to go. I don't think it makes sense.
It doesn't
Like,
make sense because like,
that is
why?
a green alligator.
Literally. And like also what bugged me so much was that like Roxanne and Monty were always darker skin tones for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
And they were arguably the more like aggressive ones. Because you know,
Yeah.
like Roxy would literally like charge after you, and so would Monty.
Yeah.
But then in the game, Chica was just chilling, so she wasn't necessarily viewed as an aggressive character.
And that kind of theme persists through so many things. Like the conversation that was had when everyone kept drawing the Powerpuff Girls, but they would always make Buttercup the darkest, which was very
Yeah.
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, it's like, are you guys, especially like non-POC artists, like, are you thinking enough about what you're putting down?
Yeah. Honestly, I really do think that that's something that a lot of non-POC artists should do more. Like, just thinking about, like, what implications they are doing by making those types of characterizations, because there are implications there, and if there's a lot of people who are not thinking and doing the same thing, then it becomes a stereotype.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then it becomes harmful, because you're all doing it, and then obviously there's, like, something going on that's not just, like, oh, I didn't think about it. It's, like, deeper than that at that point, if everybody's doing it.
Yeah. I can think of so many different occasions where I saw something and I was like, no way you did that, and didn't think twice about it. Like, the first thing that came to mind for me was when Genshin artists would draw the
Oh my
hilly
God.
churls as humans, but they would always be brown.
Oh.
And when people like draw, sometimes they would even be OCs, and people would draw the darker skin person in the ship as more aggressive or more like wild.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a theme that I saw so much that I was like, guys?
Yeah, I think that definitely also speaks to just like the deeper problems within Genshin as like the source media, because a lot of people have brought up the issues that they have with the hilly trolls like having pretty obvious like native inspirations.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have on, like, tribal gear.
Yeah,
It goes so deep with Genshin.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think that also brings us back to, like, that Pinkie Pie drama that's going on right now, where, like, I'm almost shocked to see that people don't even, like, at least, like, see it. Like, not necessarily, they don't necessarily have to, like, headcanon Pinkie Pie as black, but, like, they don't even, like, see it. Like, I feel like, I don't know, like, part of me kind of, like, wonders if that kind of, like, bias is there, where they, like, see a bright, colorful character, and they're like, that can't be a black person. And it kind of worries me.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, she's a pink horse. Like, there's no way you can't at least, like, consider it.
Mm-hmm.
It's
It's not
it's a
like
little,
it's impossible.
it's a little ridiculous when people are like, no, she wouldn't be black. Like, how do you know that? You don't know that.
Yeah, she's a horse.
Yeah,
And-
that's
and that-
the wildest part to me. It's like she is a horse. I don't think it's that serious.
She's literally a horse. And I feel like the argument could be made as like, oh, well, she's just a horse, so why does it matter if she's black or not? But it's like, I feel like as artists, we should be thinking about the implications that we're putting out. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if, like, we are the people who represent people, and if we represent people a certain way, then that is an idea that could be put out to the public and viewed by other people in a negative light. Like, I feel like artists do not understand enough sometimes the impact that they can have just by characterizing a character a certain way.
Yeah.
Like,
Like,
it
that could-
genuinely is, like, influential, because we are the people that bring those characters to life, you know? Like, there's no, like, actual human version of Pinkie Pie or Fluttershy, you know?
Yeah.
The
It
only
could
reason
mean
why
a
those things
lot.
exist with, like, natural skin tones is because of artists. So we're kind of putting that idea out there in the first place, so I feel like we should be thinking about what is implied when we do that.
Yeah. And it could mean a lot to someone to to see themselves like represented, because people can see what you're saying also when you're disagreeing with humanizations. Like saying that Pinkie Pie can't be black is crazy, because what are you trying to say?
Yeah.
Right.
It goes like hand in hand too with the other thing where it's like that people are so mean to each other about their humanizations lately.
Yeah, like it's really not that deep.
Yeah, because there was the My Little Pony ones that went really viral, but I've also been seeing a lot of Stardew Valley ones on TikTok, and there will genuinely be people in the comments being like, Abigail would not look like that, she would look like this, or you have it all wrong, this is not at all how I picture them. Okay, then draw it yourself. Or how about we consider for a second that this artist just said this is them in their style, this is how they picture them.
Yeah, exactly.
That's something else that reminds me of way back in the DeviantArt days when people would get really sensitive about OCs, and it's like these characters, these interpretations are not probably ever going to be canon, so why does it bother you so much?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, it is just the artist's interpretation of the character.
Yeah. Like, this idea that every artist has to have the exact interpretation that you have in your head is actually crazy. Like, that's literally impossible, first of all. And also just, you don't even have to tell them that you disagree. You can just move on with your day.
Exactly.
Oh
Like,
my
they
gosh.
don't
Too many
need to
people
know.
don't scroll past things that they don't agree with. Like, it's so
Yes.
easy to do that, and you put more energy towards commenting and interacting with the post than you do to just scroll, you know?
Yeah.
Exactly. It's very weird. It's like, I feel like the internet gives you a lot of ways for you to tailor your social media, whether that's blocking or just simply scrolling past it, muting a word. Like, I don't understand why you are wasting your time like that.
Yeah, I especially don't understand why people are so afraid of just using the block button. Like, if you really don't like it that much, just block them. It's like...
Like, I don't think it's that serious, but if it is that serious for you, then maybe the block button is right for you.
Yeah.
Or stepping away from the screen for a second. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's so
Maybe going
crazy.
outside.
Yeah, maybe put Twitter down for a minute. And it's so crazy because all of these things exist simultaneously in my head. Like, yes, I think that especially non-human characters are completely free to be up to interpretation, and we should stop policing each other and how we draw them. But I also believe that some people are doing it wrong, and I also believe that Pinkie Pie is always black. But I feel like I feel like it's valid because usually when someone is doing it wrong, it's because it's racist.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a different scenario because, like, honestly, I'm not gonna sit here and say, like, you're wrong, but also it just comes back to that thing where, like, maybe sometimes we have to think about the implications that we're putting out. You know, because, like, it's not that, like, we have to be so careful and tiptoe around every single characterization that we're making, but, like, you know, look through your art, look through the characters that you're making. If you are humanizing characters a lot, like, if you're humanizing non-human characters a lot, maybe look through and see if, like, is there a theme going on?
Yeah.
How are you drawing characters with certain color palettes, and what is their skin tone when they have that color palette? You know, like, it's not that, like it's just, like, being conscious, I think, because, like, I feel like you can have both things in your brain, like you were saying.
Yeah, I
but the
agree.
overarching thing is, like, let's just be conscious about it, and maybe try to push away from the stereotypes that we are seeing.
Yeah, like, if you are about to draw a character and your mind immediately pictures them as something specific, like, think critically for a second about why you might think that, you know? Because it could be something innocent, it could be biased, but you just have to make sure that it is purposeful. Like, you should be aware of your reasoning, instead of just going with it, because you might unknowingly be feeding into a stereotype. Like, do things purposefully as an artist.
Yeah. This palette challenge also reminds me of this tweet I also saw, I think like today or a few days ago, about how someone was talking about how they thought it was kind of crazy that there were people out there that thought that like pose or color palette reference was real, or not reference, theft.
Wait, what?
Yeah. No, there are people who think that.
Wait, say that sentence one more time. That's crazy.
There are people who think that pose and color palette theft is realsies and a thing that you can do.
I see.
There's only so many colors.
There's also
That is
so many ways the human body can move.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, like, we all use Pinterest, we all use social media. Sometimes we're gonna stumble upon the same reference pose.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, I mean, like, can you even call it theft when the pose wasn't truly yours to begin with?
I know, if you didn't sit there and pose for it yourself, and even then, like, that pose doesn't belong to you.
Yeah, it doesn't really.
You can't
belong to
claim a pose of the human body. That doesn't make sense.
Cause yeah, sometimes maybe it's not even that they found the same image. Maybe they just genuinely, accidentally came up with the same pose as you.
Mm-hmm.
Palette theft is also weird.
That is crazy.
That's very, very weird. Because, again, it's almost the exact same thing. Somebody's gonna accidentally stumble upon the same palette that you found somewhere, or the palette probably already exists because there's only so many combinations you can make.
Mm-hmm.
That's another thing too, because of like the way that color theory is, there's only so many combinations that look good together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I also think that we need to remind ourselves sometimes that in the art world, nothing is really truly original. Everything was inspired by something else. Some people are going to have the same inspirations as you, and that's just how it is.
I also think that's something that can help with creative flow. Just like knowing that nothing is original can loosen you up a little bit if you're not so uptight about making an original.
Yeah. Then you're not stuck trying to, make something new.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be new to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like hanging on the idea that it is original and trying to like wear the fact that you're the first one who did it like it's a trophy is more of a stunt in your growth as an artist than any kind of like boost, because everybody gets inspiration from somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're not aware of it, you're still inspired by something, because literally the world around you is things to be inspired by. Like, it doesn't even have to be other art.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I think nothing is original to a certain point.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Like, nothing is original in the sense that, like, if you make something and you think it's original and then you see something else and it looks like somebody else already did it, or looks like there's a similar inspiration being taken, just take it with grace. Take it with your head up. Like, cool, we had the same idea. Move on with your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, nothing is original does not give anybody the autonomy to just steal or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's really not gonna pass if you're just taking something and then just like changing up little itty bitty pieces of it and then being like, this is original and I did it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, you didn't. Let's be for real.
I also think that we would all be a lot less miserable if, instead of when you see something that's similar to something that you've already done, instead of being like, oh, like, that sucks,
Strawberry
or
language.
immediately, oh darn, crud, that sucks, and like jumping to the worst conclusions. I think we would be a lot happier if we were like, oh, that's so cool that we had the same idea, and being more encouraging of each other instead of claiming all this weird. It's different if someone genuinely truly copied you or like traced your art or something, obviously, but if someone else just happens to have had a similar idea to you, is that really so bad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we pull our heads out of our for a second and like stop being so stuck up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was.
Can we just have some more fun, please?
Yeah.
Instead of making everything so serious?
There was a consistent thing that I was seeing in. This is a weird corner of the internet, but like specifically among like VTuber emote artists, There was one person who was trying to like lay claim to like, have you guys seen like those wiggle emotes? There was somebody who tried to cancel another emote artist for doing that and making it talk as a PNG tuber. They were like, I came up with this idea last year. Okay.
Like they came up with the idea of it talking.
Yeah, not specifically the wiggle emote, but of the wiggle emote talking as a PNG tuber, which I don't know. That's a little silly. To specifically try and take down another artist just for like also doing it.
Especially since you're not even the person that made the wiggle emote. Like, maybe that would have a little bit more weight if it was the original artist of the wiggle thing in general, but just another random person being like, hey, I made mine talk too, is a little bit,
I also feel like there's just a gray line sometimes with stuff like that, because like I feel like theft is so complicated sometimes. Because I feel like you kind of have to rely a lot on people's integrity and their ability to be truthful. I guess using this situation as an example, like maybe that person was lying, but also maybe they weren't. And I feel like that's something that kind of has to be taken into consideration for situations like that, because like you want to believe that everybody is truthful and and we're all coming up with our own ideas, but sometimes people are not. and then they steal things, and then they say, no, we just came up with it at the same time, and then they actually didn't, and they stole it for realsies. And I feel like that just makes it like a million times more complicated. I just think about it sometimes where I'm like, if it was me and someone accused me of stealing something, like the only thing I have to go off of is like me knowing that I'm a truthful person.
Yeah, just trust me, bro.
Yeah, like it's literally just like a just trust me bro situation, I swear. Because like, what am I gonna do, pull the receipts out of my brain, the timestamp of the day and time that I thought about it in my noggin? Like, how do you prove that?
That is a good point, because unless it's literally traced, it can be kind of difficult to confirm whether or not something is stolen. Like if something's traced, you can put the two images over top of each other and be like, oh yeah, that's traced. I've seen like character designs get stolen, but even that could fall under what Peachie said of like, oh, maybe someone had the same idea, or maybe they're lying.
Yeah.
Some are specific enough that I feel like they are, but again, it's just like,
I feel like that just is like a reminder to approach situations with nuance and like with the perspective that things aren't always what they seem. And sometimes we need to look deeper into specific situations in order to pass judgment on the people within them.
So true.
And also, you know, sometimes it might, as much as it might suck, it might just take like just taking the punch, like accepting that someone is if someone's going to steal, then accepting that they're just gonna steal and they're not gonna like give up on that, you know, like trying to just be like,
yeah,
oh, you stole my thing,
you gotta just take the L
and hoping that the person will admit it. Like sometimes you just kind of gotta be like, you know what, I know that what I did is 100% mine, so let me just rock with it and take it as far as I can and not worry.
Yeah, that's true, because there's only so much you can do.
Because I feel like I've seen a lot of artists go really crazy over very small coincidences and similarities in like OC designs or what have you, and sometimes it's just not worth it, you know.
I've seen people have full villain monologues because they thought that a smaller artist stole something from them, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Like, unfortunately, that's just kind of the reality. Like, sometimes you just gotta take it, and sometimes you won't know if it's actually stolen, but sometimes that battle is just not worth fighting.
Yeah.
Because I saw a dispute one time with, like, these two designers. They were, like, clothing designers, and one of them drew their clothing concepts in a certain way, and then another one of them drew the same kind of clothing concepts with like the same kind of dimensions, and they had this like big dispute, and one of them was significantly bigger than the other, mind you. And they had this whole dispute where like the bigger person was like, you're stealing my stuff, I've literally done these things, but like arguably the things that they were putting out were like designs that I've seen a lot of people do. And not to say that they're not original, or that maybe there is thievery afoot, but like you're thriving. You are thriving and you have a successful business and you certainly have a bigger following. Like, I feel like maybe we need to ask ourselves, is it really worth it to be fighting those fights sometimes?
Yeah.
Because, like, them doing that didn't do anything besides just make this smaller creator hate them.
Yeah.
Like, nothing came out of it, you know?
Artists just need to know when to pick their battles.
Because sometimes, at the end of it all, you might just make yourself look like a jerk as well by picking on a smaller artist, and then people are not going to want to support you anymore.
Yeah.
There's definitely more nuance to it because, like,
that's only if it goes too far.
There's the whole, like, power imbalance thing where, like, if you're a bigger artist, then, you know, there's some more consideration that needs to be taken when interacting with people who are
significantly smaller than you.
Yeah.
Because it could have pretty bad consequences sometimes. Like, even if they did steal from you and you are, like, justified in your anger, I mean, like, what you guys already said is you just have to pick your battles or like figure out a more gracious way to go about it than raising torches and pitchforks.
Because that also doesn't necessarily mean that, like, people who have bigger followings should feel like they can't defend themselves or anything, you know?
Yeah, of course.
Like, that's definitely not the point.
You don't have to just sit and take it.
Yeah, that's definitely not the point, and that's definitely not what I think anyone is trying to say here. But
you just need to consider how to go about it.
I also feel like even if it's not like a matter of like big following versus small following, like the example that I said, like even as just like a normal person on the internet, you just gotta pick your battles sometimes.
Yeah, dude. 'Cause sometimes, like, even if you do the right things and tell a person, hey, I don't like that you stole my thing, a lot of people online are mean and they will keep doing it anyway. And at some point you just have to, you know, block and move on.
So what do we think are the levels of theft? We have cleared color palette and pose as not theft. What else is there? I mean, I guess art style theft would be a big one that has been around since the dawn of time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that one's difficult, too. Because I do believe in, you know, taking inspiration from a style you really like. Like, oh, I like how this artist draws noses. I like how this artist draws eyes. I want to try that. I like how this person draws this. I feel like that's fine and valid if you want to take inspiration and, like, get experimental with your style. But straight up art style theft? I don't know.
And the thing is, you can't technically, like, physically snatch up someone's art style and put it in your body and take it.
As much as I joke about doing that, whenever I see a style I really like, I'm just like, I'm gonna eat your art. And I'm gonna take it from you.
I'm gonna take your style, it's mine now. Like, the word theft technically does not actually encompass the act. It's more like art style, like copying, ?
Yeah.
Art style replication.
So I guess the question then is, where is the line between inspiration and theft?
It's a fine line, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't even know if I could say if art style theft is or is not actual theft and or is okay, because I feel like a lot of artists start off by copying one specific art style, and then the way your personal style grows is by, like, collecting art styles like Pokemon and then, like, turning it into one big Pokemon that's just yours.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So, like, there are people out there who, like, are style copying, but they're also in the beginning stages of their art journey, so, like, it's not like they should be crucified for it.
Especially if you're just, like, a self-taught artist, just doing your best.
Because, like, it's not like there's, like, a default art style that you can just, like, start out with, you know?
Yeah.
So I feel like the only thing that you can go to is, like, your first favorite style and just, like, grab it.
Because that's what I did when I was young and starting out. Like, before I really had any access to social media, I would just, like, look at the characters that I liked or the art that I liked from video games or shows and redraw it.
Me too.
And
Dude,
then that became my art style.
Yeah.
I used to draw Sonic fan art all the time.
Yes, that's exactly what I was gonna say. And then because I drew so much, like, because I learned to draw Sonic characters first, my character designs had the biggest feet for so long because of the strange Sonic proportions. I'm talking like Kingdom Hearts feet.
Dude, me and my struggle with big heads, because all the Sonic characters have big heads.
Yeah.
Dude, I could not escape the big-headedness. Even today, I struggle with it. Like, I'll make a sketch and I'm like, why is the head so big?
So real and true.
But yeah, I don't think this conversation is necessarily to squash if art style theft is real or not, but like,
Just like an interesting conversation to have.
it's so nuanced. It's very nuanced. Because, I mean, there's sometimes where, like, I feel like I see an artist and I feel like I see a style that they have that I've never really seen before, and then I start seeing it pop up after they've done it. A very historical and probably well-known example,
I feel like I know what you're
Scribs. Y'all know Scribs, the Hamilton animatics.
Oh!
That is totally
yes.
not who I was thinking of, but you're right.
No, I was thinking of someone
went
else.
through the ringer with the art style theft. Like, I can't even say that they didn't experience art style theft. That is like the best example of like real world example of probably art style theft I've ever seen in my life.
I mean, I don't know if I would call it not the script situation, but a different one. I don't know if I should bring up Dolly Guts because I don't know how people feel about them, but they like Dolly Guts specifically as like rampant, like people just copying their art style like one for one. They're fine with it. They like historically have said that it's fine, or at least in recent years. They used to be not okay with it, but they're okay with it now. But like their art style is so specific and like iconic to like 2016 Tumblr and DeviantArt that it's like it's pretty obvious when somebody is copying them.
Yeah, like the thing I can say about both those artists you brought up is like when someone else draws with a style that is reminiscent of theirs, I'm like, okay. I knew who you're getting inspiration from. And there was another artist I wanted to bring up whose username I can't remember at the moment, but they a while back they caused some discussion because they like brought it up on their Twitter that they felt like their art style had been stolen a lot because they were very popular on Tumblr back in the day, and they're still very big now, but it was just kind of something that they were discussing now that a few years had passed. And then on one hand there were people that were calling them like really stuck up and like snobbish for even claiming that, and then there were other people that were like, no, yeah, they're one of the OG artists, and you can see their art style everywhere. I just wish that I could remember who the hell I'm talking about. If you guys know who I'm talking about in the comments, can you please
You say
let
that,
me
but
know.
you said like nothing specific about the artist.
Yeah, what you said sounds like the Scrib situation.
I know.
'Cause that's the exact same thing that happened. They got like so much flack for being upset that they found their style popping up everywhere after their animatics went crazy and got super popular. And I follow them now. They have a completely different art style now. Completely. A completely different name too.
Yeah.
Like, they have put that all behind them. And for good reason too, you know? Like, sometimes it just gets to a point where like it's just not nuanced it's not nuanced anymore, you know? Like, it's like this is real and this is happening, and like there's no debate. Your art style has been taken.
Oh, okay, you know what? I looked it up and I discovered who I'm talking about. Do you guys know Manda?
Oh, Manda? Imbusts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They draw.
Wait, really?
That's
Yeah.
who you're talking about.
That
Yes.
happened to Amanda? Wait, I
Yeah.
have no idea.
Yeah, me neither.
I
The
have no
tweets
idea.
are
What the
deleted
heck?
now, but there was a time where she was really upset because she saw, and forgive me if I'm getting the details wrong, okay, because it's been a while and I don't have the original tweets to reference anymore, but I think that she was getting upset because someone's art looked so much like hers that it was getting confused as her side account, and she had been seeing so many art styles like that since she started getting really big on Tumblr, and felt like she had inspired like a generation of artists, but then people didn't take that very well and were very quick to call her cocky for even claiming such a thing. And
bro,
a lot
Amanda
of replies,
is like one of my biggest inspirations. What the heck?
yeah, exactly. And
Dude,
a lot
Amanda's
of people,
an icon.
Literally.
and I feel like she's right. I feel like I do see remnants of her style everywhere. A lot of people were telling her she had no right to be upset, or like, oh, art style theft isn't real, you're entitled. But I think she was allowed to be upset because she is really influential. She is a very popular artist and has been for like a while.
I think if your art is being replicated to such a degree that the art pieces are being confused, or you're like
For your
losing revenue from it, I think it's valid to be upset about that.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
like if
Yeah.
people like see someone's art and like all of the comments underneath it is like, oh my god, I thought you were this artist, then like maybe there is something going on here. Maybe we should consider how heavily we are taking inspiration.
I'm glad I realized who I was talking about because that was going to drive me insane.
That is crazy. You were literally like, I don't know who this artist I was talking about. I was like, oh, maybe it's like some small artist, and you're talking about Manda.
Manda. The Manda.
Yeah.
Literally have her art book in my home, Manda.
Literally.
They could never make me hate you, Manda.
That is so funny. I had no idea that happened to her. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, I had
Yeah.
no idea either.
That makes sense though. Like now that you say it, like I feel like I wouldn't necessarily say that I like see someone's art style and feel like, whoa, Manda copy, but like I feel like there are certain styles that kind of just like reverberate through a lot of people.
Yes.
And it's very, sometimes it's kind of easy to put them in their little categories, you know?
I
Like this
agree.
is this kind of style, and then we have the jelly style, and then we have the like
The Tumblr style.
the Tumblr style, yeah, like
I forgot that was a thing.
Tumblr style was fun and cute.
because like I feel like in recent times there is a very specific style that has been coming up among like younger artists who are on TikTok,
I feel
and
like
it's
we've
like this.
had a discussion about this before.
We probably have because there was a big boom of it like last year. And I mean, it's not like those artists went away, they're still chilling, but like they all kind of like came to be because it seems like they kind of like learned the same art style at the same time, and they're all like 13 to like 17 years old for some reason.
Yeah. I think we had joked about it
Which
when we
art
were
style? The
initially
jelly style?
talking about it, that they were all like watching the same tutorial videos.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Like, and they're all really good, by the way. Like, this isn't a diss whatsoever. They're all better than me.
Yeah, it's like a very specific, it's like semi-realistic anime art style, kind of.
Yeah, semi-realistic anime. It's never full bodies. It's always like busts and half bodies, and very, I would say, like simplistic poses, and a very specific way that they do like the faces.
Okay. The next time you come across an example, I want to see, because I want to figure out.
I
what
might
you're
follow a
talking
few
about.
people, because like it's not like I hate the art style or anything. It's just like a very noticeable like I feel like there's like eras of art, and like specific styles kind of like pop up, and then the
Yeah.
next art style pops up, you know.
Yeah, and you know what? It's all connected too, because like that also goes back to what Peachie was saying about how like a lot of these artists are young because they're newer artists that are teaching themselves, and they probably are watching the same tutorials because that's the style that's big and like influential right now. Hence like the jelly style, the Tumblr style. And the other thing is that whenever a style gets a name and it becomes really big, it gets a lot of hate.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that you guys are just mean. I think that the jelly art style is cute. I think the Tumblr style is cute. I think whatever this new style that we're talking about is cute. Even though I'm not sure what you mean yet. I'm sure it's fine and really good.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty drawings.
Yeah, they're always
I-
really nice.
I think that just like so many people in the art community are so rotten towards new artists.
God,
and it
that
makes
is
me
so true.
It makes me so mad. It makes me so mad because I see it particularly often on TikTok when a newer artist is just trying to partake in a trend or like share their art with people like we all wanted to do. I was 14 making a DeviantArt account.
Literally.
I still look back at it sometimes. I'm like, why did I post that? Because I was just proud of what I was making and I wanted to share it, and I don't think that's something that you should be ashamed of, and I don't think that's something that we should be so judgy about.
Yeah, but also TikTok is just like a whole nother like realm, you know? Like, people are so quick to be the worst people on earth.
I know.
Just like, you could have just scrolled. You didn't have to stop at this like new artist TikTok and be like,
is
what
this
the
the
heck
original?
is that? Yes, this is the original. God, that's the worst. I think it's literally just a TikTok problem where it just feels like there's no room for growth on there.
Yeah, people open their TikTok and they're like, all right, time to say whatever I want with no consequences.
Time to be the biggest hater.
You guys wonder why I don't use it anymore.
No, it's good sometimes.
No way, I take back what I said.
I take back what I said. Cyrus, please watch my TikToks.
Anyway.
Because of course it does go without saying that TikTok is not all bad, but I do notice it. I notice a lot of comments are really mean, and like I know that we're only talking about art right now, but even like if anything or anyone is not meeting the standards or conventionally attractive, quote unquote, people are so quick to be so f***ing mean. Sorry.
Language!
So mean. I don't understand how you could be so cruel to other people like that. And for what? They've committed no crimes aside from existing.
And I mean, you're saying we're not, like, you're sidetracking us away from art, but like, honestly, it kind of brings us back in, because that was another big problem with the Pinkie Pie stuff, was that someone drew her fat.
Yes.
And
oh my
everybody had a
God.
problem with her being fat for some reason.
It was so, that few days was so crazy.
Miserable even.
Miserable.
Like, the internet should not blow up over seeing a fat person. How are we here? How are we still at this point?
And I feel like that just reminded me of what we were saying earlier about how when you're an artist, like, the way you draw something is influential and the way you speak about people can also be influential. It was so upsetting to see this artist just like living their life, like drawing their interpretations of the ponies, and people calling them ugly. Oh, I hate you people so much. I hate you. because I don't even know what to say. It made me so mad. Because there are people that look like that. Why are we getting so pressed that it's not like the perfect I don't
I know, that's what gets me, is like there are a million. Like, at the end of the day, there's gonna be a million interpretations of these characters. Like, why is it a problem that the one that you see isn't the one that you have in your mind? Like, that just floors me so bad. Like, why does that affect you?
I think I know how I want to say what I wanted to say. People have a problem with it when they're not attracted to the design anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, the moment that they find it unattractive or just not like what they wanted, it's ugly and it's bad.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, why is there a criteria that it has to be attractive in the first place? Like, just in general. Like, even if I met a really pretty girl, why is the criteria that, like, it's good because she's attractive to you?
Yeah.
Sorry, I was about to go on a tangent.
Sorry, that's literally the point of what we're doing here. Go ahead.
No, it's not art related. I had to stop myself.
Roasted.
I just have really strong feelings about the way that people treat characters that are not conventionally attractive.
Yeah. No, yeah.
And, like, conventionally attractive in heavy quotes.
Yeah. Because even that term kind of pisses me off.
Literally. It's
I
just annoying, you know? Because, like, what is conventionally attractive? Everyone has different tastes, like...
And I feel like art is not supposed to be a beauty contest.
You're supposed to have fun with it.
Yes!
And it's
then
also
people
a
are being
big...
mean about it.
And
I
also
know.
takes us back to, like, representing, being mindful of the people that you're representing. Like, there are lots of different people in the world, and those different people are going to represent themselves in their art, question mark.
Yeah.
Like,
that's what I felt like I was seeing a lot with the My Little Pony stuff, is like people were kind of like headcanoning them with their own identities or like things that they related to because they saw themselves in that character.
Yeah.
which is so fun and cute. But you guys just have to be haters and ruin everything.
Oh, I didn't even get to talk about how it pisses me off that you can't, on social media, there's no, like, this person is reposting someone else's art. It's always, like, reporting them for impersonating, which I feel like is not the same thing.
No, yeah.
But there's no, like, copyright infringement report button on sites like Twitter and Instagram, so you find reposted art, and you have to, like, say that they're impersonating the person, which isn't true most of the time.
Yeah, the reporting system feels like you have to jump through hoops to, like, make it understand what you are reporting the person for.
That just made me mad today, because I came across somebody who was reposting artwork on Instagram, and I went to just report them, and there's no report button for that. Social media hates artists.
It does though.
It really does. Like, I swear every new social media update is always something that's, like, somehow specifically screwing us over. Like, I'm sure other people are affected, but I feel targeted.
Yeah, like, what do you mean video posts are gonna do better than just pictures?
Right.
Because when I tried to keep up with that and, like, consistently film myself drawing for all the little trends on TikTok, it made me enjoy art less, because suddenly I was insecure about how my sketches looked. Which is so dumb, because it's a sketch, and it's supposed to be messy. I started worrying about every aspect of it being aesthetically pleasing. Also, everything took 10 times longer to do, to the point where it burned me out, and I was like, I don't want to post on TikTok anymore.
Dude, yeah, making videos of the art on top of just drawing it in the first place is so exhausting. Like, it's not the same as, like, just sitting in front of the camera and just, like, speaking. Like, you have to have the content there. And the content is that thing you put 15 hours into already.
Exactly.
And then you have to dedicate another however many more hours to making the video for it. And you have to make sure the video is good, because you can't just put 5 million speed paints and hope for the best.
Oh my god, yeah. That's the other thing, is, like, I wish I could just turn on the time-lapse.
Yeah, post the time-lapse and call it a day.
And then forget about it. But what TikTok wants is the fancy transitions and the all the extra crap. That I don't want to do, because otherwise it's not visually interesting enough and people are just going to scroll past. At this point I don't care, and I kind of just post stuff. I just do, like, sketchbook tours, because then I can just post photos, because before you couldn't just post, like, do photo posts on TikTok. So that makes it a little easier, and now I just care less in general about how my TikTok does. But it's very frustrating when you want to grow your platform and all you want to do is draw.
Yeah, brother, just let the people draw, you know what I'm saying?
Precisely, brother.
I swear to God.
So true. Just let us draw. Let's stop forgetting that art is supposed to be fun. Art is supposed to be fun. And let's all be a little nicer, please. Let's make a community that is actually welcoming to new artists, and where everything doesn't have to be a freaking beauty contest all the time.
Let's all be a little nicer. Let's all think a little bit more about the stuff we're putting out. Let's all be friends.
Well, with all that off our chest, we hope you guys were able to maybe learn from our chat. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And thanks for stopping by. Don't forget to leave a like, and make sure to subscribe while you're at it. And make sure to check out the links to Cafe Etoile and everyone's socials in the description below. Also, feel free to join our Discord while you're at it. Thanks again, and come back soon. Bye!
Bye.